לבוקר חסדך, כי היית משכב לי ומנוס ביום צלי. עוזי אליך אזמרה, אזמרה. עוזי אליך אזמרה, אזמרה. ואני אשיר עוזך וארנה לבוקר חסדך, כי היית משכב לי ומנוס ביום צלי. עוזי אליך אזמרה, אזמרה. עוזי אליך אזמרה, אזמרה.
Va'ani ashir uzecha. I will sing, extol in this morning your loving kindness, for you have been my haven, my inspiration, my refuge at an impossible time. To you, O my strength, I will sing. Ozi elecha azamera, from Psalm 59. It's as if those words could have been written by the psalmist for this moment, and the strength that we will need together to face the huge hole in our hearts left with the loss of Avi Halzel, an inspiring friend, leader, and family man. I personally will never forget singing these very words with Avi at our Friday night Azamra services here at HEA, but especially singing them last week with Raina, Adina, Eitan, and their dog Nava at his home in his final days. I'm Rabbi Sarah Shulman, and I want to personally thank you all for your presence here today, to support, love, and stand besides Avi's loving family, Raina, Matan, Ariella, Adina, Gilad, and their loved ones, to remember Avi's life and legacy as a leader in the Jewish educational community, as your boss, as your colleague, as the head of our children's school, to appreciate his unique gifts and talents as a person, a drummer, a mensch who could steer us through just about any storm, budgetary challenge, international crisis, or construction project, to celebrate his life and to deeply mourn his absence. I'm honored to be joined by many of my rabbinic colleagues today, whom we'll invite up a little later in the service. Since Avi's passing, I've been thinking a lot about a teaching that Rabbi Kalonimus Shapira, the rabbi of the Warsaw Ghetto, left with us. And that is a reminder that the word chinuch, which means education, comes from the same root as Hanukkah, which means dedication. That there are truly special educators in our lives who make education a holy act, who see the light in each one of our children and our teachers and ourselves, and are the foundation of bringing that light into this world. And Avi was one of those rare and special people to each one of us and our children in all sorts of different ways. May his memory be for eternal blessing, may the light that he brought into this world for all of us continue to shine bright forever. We continue with Psalm 23.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אחסר, בינות ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי ישובב, נפשי ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא אירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שיבתך, שיבתך, ומשענתך. שיבתך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן, תערוך לפני שולחן, תערוך לפני שולחן, נגד צורריי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, דשנת בשמן ראשי. דשנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose and green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. At this time, it's my honor to welcome up my colleague, Rabbi Jeffrey Kay, a very close friend of the Halzel family who has been there every day, every hour for the family. He's also the director of chaplaincy services at Rose Hospital and the spiritual leader of Beth Shalom here in town to facilitate our eulogies today.
We thank you so much, Rabbi Shulman, to you, music director Eitan Cantor, to the Hebrew Education Alliance community for opening up this sacred space, which is so very special and appropriate to honor our beloved Avi. To you, Raina, and children and loved ones, to the extended family that has traveled from California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Utah. We say thank you for your presence. To the circles of connection, which have been a part of Avi's lives for so many years, we thank you for your presence. To the Denver Jewish Day School community, teachers, faculty, administrators, students, parents, and community members. To the educational professional organizations that Avi was a part of, and he cherished your collegiality and also dreams that he had moving post-retirement in terms of doing consulting in this realm. We thank you for your strength and for your presence today. To the various congregations that Avi and Rayna and family have been a part of over the years, to all of the rabbis and cantors, the Jewish communal leaders, our sacred organizations here in town, we thank you for your collaboration with Avi, and we thank you for your presence. And it's also appropriate on this powerful morning, while we're focusing our energy, rightfully so, with Avi and family, that we also send our thoughts and prayers to the brave U.S. personnel who are currently in the Middle East, and to send our strength, koach, to the brave IDF forces and to the land and people of Israel. And it's also important for us to acknowledge that today there are others in this sanctuary and in our community that have suffered losses. To you, we reach out with comfort and words of strength, and in particular for the Denver Jewish Day School community, the news of Dr. Mark Barter having just passed away, a true mainstay for the community, for the school, and for the baseball program. Avi was the consummate educator in life, and Avi was the consummate educator and teacher during his dying process. He led by example and by deed, through humility and modesty, dignity and grace through his calm demeanor, never expressing anger or bitterness, and savoring each and every day with his beloved Raina and children. He taught us so very much in life as well as in death. And for that, I am so very grateful. And yes, he not only had profound moments around the Shabbat dinner table with his loved ones, but he even found in these last few months and weeks time for his patriots, to play the drums, and to listen to his favorite rock group, Rush. I'll have the opportunity to share a few more reflections about his core values, his persona, his love of family, his dedication and commitment to the Denver Jewish Day School, and those special connections in our broader community in between the eulogies of Raina, his children, and the longtime Denver Jewish Day School Upper Division head, Brian Hay. At this time, it's my honor to call forward Raina.
Time. How does one measure time? When we are lucky enough to find our special person in this world, we take note of how and when we met. We create a plethora of memories to savor. We marry and raise our children together, and we honor the wedding vow in sickness and in health. Avi and I met in college at San Diego State University. It was in May 1986, towards the end of his freshman year and my junior year. I was preparing to go to Israel for a year abroad at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Little did I know that Avi would come to visit over winter break to see me and spend time together. His parents knew he was serious when he said he would sell his drum set to pay for the trip. Don't worry, he did not sell his drums. His parents offered to pay. I think that Avi single-handedly kept Hallmark in business that year because he sent cards to me almost every day. Fast forward a little bit, and we got married July 16th, 1989. We immediately began graduate school and earned our master's degrees side by side, even hand in hand, which really annoyed our classmates at the University of Judaism. After graduating, we accepted jobs in Youngstown, Ohio, where we both worked full-time at the Jewish Day School and Religious School. While in Youngstown, we started our family. Matan was our special gift in 1993. We were so happy and grateful to be blessed with a healthy baby after experiencing some difficulties. After 4 years in Youngstown, we moved to Columbus, Ohio, where Avi became the director of the very large religious school at Tifereth Israel. Our family grew as we welcomed our daughters, Ariella and Adina, in Columbus. After 4 years in Columbus, Avi accepted a job to run a day school in Memphis, Tennessee. He was the head of the Solomon Schechter Day School for 8 years. We expanded our family with our final addition of our son, Gilad, in March of 2000. We made some amazing friends in Memphis, and it was bittersweet when we moved one last time to Denver, where Avi accepted the position of CEO of what is now Denver Jewish Day School. Avi put his heart and soul into the school with his strong leadership and wisdom. Our kids all graduated from the school. I started subbing at the school in 2010 and continued doing so all these years. When Matan took a job at school, we had half our family devoting time and energy into Denver Jewish Day School. Avi and I love to travel. Over the years, we went to some amazing places. Some of our favorite trips together included going to Israel, Greece, Italy, Croatia, Switzerland, Oahu, Kauai, and our short escapes to all-inclusive resorts in and around Cancun, Mexico. I will cherish the memories and special times we had together. We were fortunate to plan and then go on some family trips to resorts with the kids, and even with Avi's mom to resorts as well. Avi and I had plans to do more exploring and traveling around the world when he retired. He was so excited about having free time in the not too distant future to go on many more bike rides and trips to new places together. The love and friendship that we had was very special. We made a great team. It was a blessing that we got to spend nearly 40 years together, creating and building our family. My life can be measured by life before Avi and life with Avi. 2/3 of my life has been with him. How fortunate I've been to have found love and lived love with my Beshert. I just never thought there would be life without Avi. That was never the plan. My heart is broken. When Avi was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic pancreatic cancer in October, I literally felt like my life ended. I haven't been able to take a full breath of air ever since that moment. I may never be able to breathe freely again. I really cannot imagine how I will function without my soulmate. We completed each other. I am thankful for our extraordinary 4 children, all living here in Denver. They are my lifeline. Those of you who know me well know that I love Matan, Ariella, Adina, and Gilad more than life itself. I am proud of them and feel blessed knowing they will be the pillars that hold me up. Throughout these tumultuous months of uncertainty and fear, as I was forced to navigate Avi's medical journey, I need to say thank you. Thank you to the amazingly supportive community that has stepped up with care, compassion, check-ins, and more. You know who you are, and please accept my sincere gratitude for your previous, your current, and your future support. Many of the students for whom I have taught as a substitute teacher at school know that I encourage them to learn and use new words in their writing. I often made acrostics using students' names in which I would describe their character traits. I couldn't resist utilizing this literary device to describe my beloved husband. Avi Samuel. A is for admirable. V is for vital. I is for insightful. S is for successful. A is for ambitious. M is for musical. U is for undaunted. E is for effective. L is for laudable leadership. I began this eulogy by asking how one measures time. I'd like to conclude by sharing a poem that provides some perspective at this moment. While this is titled Dad's Journey, I think we can all apply its message to Avi as we must say goodbye to his physical being. Don't think of Dad as gone away. His journey has just begun. Life holds so many facets. This earth is only one. Just think of Dad as resting from the sorrow and the tears in a place of warmth and comfort where there are no days and years. Think how Dad must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. And think of Dad as living in the hearts of those he touched. For nothing loved is ever lost, and he was loved so much. Thank you.
Raina, never forget how you stood by Avi's side. You were his rock. You were his source of strength. You were his fierce advocate in life and for healthcare. Through word and moreover deed, you demonstrated what true love and companionship is all about. How you were each other's beshirta, soulmates for eternity. These days and weeks ahead are going to be challenging, but you have that inner strength. You will persevere, and you have so much life yet to live. With the blessing of your amazing children, your extended family, and the incredible support of these circles that surround you today, you will get by. But please lean on us to help you get by. To your amazing children, Raina and Avi, you have been truly remarkable as well. Big picture throughout the years, those moments that you bonded together at the day school, whether it be academics, Shabbatonim and color wars, other special events, gymnastic meets, baseball and basketball. Your dad, despite his incredibly busy schedule, was there with you and for you. And at the same time, you were always there, loving and supporting him. And these past several months, it has been such an honor to see those bonds and those connections only grow and flourish. The love of children for their parents, for their father, in the most beautiful and profound of ways. Take those special memories with you. May they give you strength in the days and months ahead. And please also feel the love, the warmth, the incredible support in this room who will be with you in the months and years ahead. You too are not alone. And those circles that you've touched, in turn, will reflect back on you and shine light and uplift in your midst. It is now an honor to call upon these four amazing, precious children to share reflections about their beloved father.
I want to thank you all for being here today to help honor my father's life. I can tell you all without a doubt that Avi Halzel is the most remarkable man that I have ever known in my life. And I can also tell you that I'm so incredibly lucky and proud to call that man my father. Dad, my best friend, my role model, my idol. The earliest memory I have with my dad dates back to our days in Columbus, Ohio. I remember I would hang out with him in the basement every single evening. I'd be doing my usual, draining what I thought were three-point shots and dunking on my mini basketball hoop, while my dad would be lifting weights in his tank, rocking his legendary afro mullet combo, while blasting music. I know what you're all thinking. It was Rush. But it wasn't. And you're not going to believe this next part. It was Cher. I swear. He would play all different kinds of classic rock bands down there. But all I remember was I kept playing basketball, and I would look over at my dad getting yoked while singing along to most songs playing in his high-pitched sing-along voice. And all I could think was, man, I've got one cool dad. And I want to be like him. The bottom line was if my dad did it and he liked it, then I wanted to do it, and I loved it. When we moved to Memphis, I began kindergarten at the JCC. But in first grade the next year, I got to experience something that I would look forward to every single day for the next decade of my life. Drive with my dad to his school and then attend that great school. I remember those drives to Bornblum Solomon Schechter School so clearly. I remember sometimes on the weekends, my dad and his band would put on a concert in the middle of the school's campus in a huge gazebo. My friends and I would all play soccer in the field right next to the gazebo, and my dad and his band would be jamming out in that gazebo, while my mom, her friends, and so many more families were spread throughout the playground with all of their kids. Life was so good. And I knew my dad was at the center of it all. Schechter had one really long hallway that led to every single classroom in the school. As you got older, you realized it was nearly impossible to walk down that hallway and not run into someone. As I got older, I would see my dad in the hall, and he'd nod and say, "Mr. Matan." Before I even had the chance to respond, all my friends would say, "Hi, Mr. Halzel." And I'd smile. I knew he always had my back and that he would never embarrass me. My friends thought he was that cool principal as we progressed all the way through 7th grade. I knew this was not normal in a really good way. And in 7th grade, I was lucky enough to take a classic rock lyrical class with some of my closest friends that was taught by the one and only Mr. Halzel. This class would forever change my perspective on my dad. I remember once everyone sat down, and before he said a word, he started playing the song Subdivisions by Rush on the speaker. He then handed everyone a sheet of paper with the full lyrics to the song and witnessed every single student in the class looking at the lyrics diligently. After we listened to the song, he introduced the class, explained what we'd be doing, and how to find deep meaning in the lyrics while dissecting each song. He just had that perfect balance. He kept my friends engaged, knew when to make them laugh, but also knew when to educate and teach. He commanded respect, but constantly pushed us to further understand context and meaning behind lyrics in songs. And he treated me the same as all of my friends in that class. It was magical. This wasn't a class where middle schoolers were looking to get an easy A or just listen to music and mess around. This was 15 7th graders giving my dad their undivided attention as he proved to them that music can be about so much more than silly love songs. He opened our eyes to stories, symbolism, hidden contexts, and the lessons we learn in life. Towards the end of my 7th grade year, there was a knock on the door of my classroom. It was my dad. He asked the teacher, "Can I borrow Matan for a minute?" Immediately, all my friends go, "Ooh, he's in trouble." I didn't know what to think, and my heart naturally sank because he never did this. But then he tells me in the hallway, "I've got some pretty big news. We're moving to Denver this summer." I got a new job at a school with a high school. He looked so happy and proud, and I quickly hugged him, and I started to get excited, and then he sent me back to class. 10 minutes later, another knock on the classroom door. "Can I borrow Matan for another moment?" Like, oh my God, the friends go, "Ooh." I'm like, "All right, Dad, what the heck is going on?" Are we moving again? He says no, but Allen Iverson just got traded to the Denver Nuggets. I smile from ear to ear, and I hug him tight. And we both start laughing. That was my dad, always striking that perfect balance with seriousness and fun. Always. Fast forward to the last day at Schechter, an all-school assembly in the gym to close out the school year. But this was no ordinary assembly. I walked into that gym and I saw a full 360-degree drum set, half electric and half acoustic, with hundreds of chairs in a circle formation surrounding that drum set to the edge of the gym. That gym filled up fast, and then there was my dad speaking to the entire school and community about how thankful he was for his time at Schechter and how much he will miss them. Then he sat down in the middle of those drums and he bawled out. Little first grader eardrums be damned, he went full Neil Peart on them. The best drum solo that I have ever seen in front of the entire school. And all I could think of was, man, my dad is a badass. The entire student body erupted when he was done, and I was filled with pride. He gets to fulfill his life's mission while showcasing one of the great passions in life. It was unreal to witness and reminded me just how special of a person my dad was. I'm going to read a heartfelt message that I received from my longtime friend and colleague who lives in Israel, Jared White. Matan, your dad was simply an extraordinary human being, always willing to listen, to discuss, to challenge ideas with respect, and to push for excellence. He did so much good for the Denver community and for Israel. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about the impacts of his work. He was a true leader. He inspired thousands of young people to take a journey with the Jewish people, to connect to Israel, to lead with responsibility and passion. Your dad was a true mensch, a father, a husband, and a leader, a role model for me in what leadership really means, to work together, to listen deeply, to push through challenges, and to never stop doing good for our people. As we are being bombarded, as I write this, as I think of your father, I choose light over darkness, as he always did. You couldn't have said it better, Jared. The side of my dad that most of you did not know about was his funny side. One of my favorite words in the English language is dingus. And folks, my dad was a dingus. His work life could be emotionally draining. So when he would come home and unwind and hang out with the family, his guard was down and the dad jokes and the dance moves would come out in full force. Some of his colleagues were lucky enough to sometimes witness that goofiness at work. I'd be having a conversation with Shayna Friedman and Allison Slatkin in our office together, and all of a sudden my dad would appear and enter the room horizontally with his head only from the side of the door frame coming into the picture, with the biggest smirk on his face. This would inevitably result in Shayna bursting into laughter so hard she would be brought to tears, with me and Allison following suit shortly after. People have often asked me, Matan, what's it like working with your dad? It was absolutely incredible. Every minute of it. And I'm telling you all right now, I wouldn't trade those 9 years for anything in the world. I loved working by my dad's side and helping him fulfill his mission, and I'm so glad I did. But then our world was turned upside down in October. I simply could not fathom this news. How could this be? Why? As hopeless and lost as I have felt over the past 5 months, I do now understand that life is about perspective. I'm broken and I'm mourning. But instead of being mad at the world or searching for answers or explanations as to why this happened, my remarkable mom, Ariella, Adina, and Gilly and I will choose to stand together and find a way to move forward. We are in pain and we are hurting, but we will be strong. And we are thankful and feel blessed to have had my dad for as long as we did. We will honor him, celebrate him, and carry on his family that he and my mom built so exquisitely. At a time where my world feels so dark, I choose light. I choose to believe. And this community, this mishpacha, will be there for me. I look around this room, and it's so easy for me to see the hundreds, thousands of lives that my dad impacted in the Denver Jewish community and broader education community. My mom and my siblings are a big part of his lasting legacy, but so are each and every one of you. That's pretty damn special. Neil Peart was one of the best drummers who has ever lived, but he was also one of the best songwriters of all time. As I navigate through these choppy waters and continue this journey called life, my favorite line of Neil's comes from the song, Free Will. Each of us, a cell of awareness, imperfect and incomplete. Genetic blends with uncertain ends in a treasure hunt that's far too fleet. My friends, we have such limited time on this earth. So make the most of it and embrace all of the qualities that you love about yourself. That is what makes you, you. Never change that. But at the same time, strive to become your absolute best self and do not settle for anything less. Hold your loved ones tight and be thankful for all the love that you have in your life. And cherish each day that you have. Thank you for teaching me all of that, Dad. And now I clutch my Saba's necklace for the third time in the past 5 years. Screw cancer, man. Dad, I promise to carry you with me each and every day I have on this earth. I know you are reunited now with your parents. Every Rush song I listen to, every drum set and piano I play, every Red Sox game I watch, every game I coach, you'll be there. Every friend I make, every value I preach, and every lesson I teach, you'll be there. Every date night I have with Mom, every Shabbat dinner, every family simcha, you'll be there. The man I continue to grow into, the father that I will one day become, and the family I will one day raise, you'll be there. I vow to continue to make you so proud and carry on your legacy. Our family will never be the same without you. The perfect husband, the proud father, and humble but fearless leader. There will never be another Avi Halzel. I know I'll see you again one day. I love you, Dad.
About 10.5 months ago, our family went on a trip to Mexico with our Safta, my dad's mom, to cherish our time with her following her diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. I never could have imagined this being our last trip with our dad as well. Just before Dad's 59th birthday, the four of us got a text from him calling for a family meeting on a weeknight. For me, this was the day that my life changed, as I could sense from that text something was wrong. Still, I never could have imagined things would progress so quickly to the point we would be here today. Pancreatic cancer is an absolutely terrible disease, and watching him go through this was by far the hardest thing I've ever done. It showed me the true meaning of the saying, life can change in the blink of an eye. Dad had so many plans for the future. I had so many plans with him for the future. And while I could go on and on about how unfair this all is, I know you all know this already. So instead, I want to focus on who my dad was and the qualities that made him so special. Dad was patient, calm, very goofy, caring, hardworking, positive, family-oriented. The list could go on forever, but I want to expand on a few. Patience. My dad taught me so much, from managing money and student loans, to waxing my car, to handling challenges with calmness. No matter what he was explaining, he always had patience. Even when I asked him all the dad questions I probably could have figured out myself, like whether I really needed the new air filter the car place was trying to sell me. Even though it may have taken me bothering him with the same question 5 times, as he liked when we were independent, he would eventually answer thoughtfully. Goofiness. This is a side of him not everyone got the chance to see. But if you did, you know it was an honor. When he was in a goofy mood, everyone was having a good time. His go-to dance moves, his silly one-liners, the way he could lighten any room. I like to think a lot of my sense of humor and silliness comes from him. I'm so grateful I have so many videos saved on my phone of him being his goofy self. Positivity. It was rare to see him with a negative attitude. Even during his illness, he carried strength and positivity with him the whole time. During one hospital stay, when several of us stayed late to hang out with him, he had us all get up after 10 p.m. so he could lead us through a brief exercise class. That was just who he was, choosing light even when things were unimaginably heavy. But more than anything, my dad was family-oriented. He and my mom created a family that is close, connected, and deeply rooted in love. He was often the trip planner. I have him to thank for some of my favorite memories. We explored Halifax, Nova Scotia, where Dad was born, when the 4 of us were ages 2, 4, 6, and 8. We traveled around the country for Adina's and my gymnastics competitions, where he cheered us on. He visited me in Israel during my 5-month internship before physical therapy school, and the 2 of us got to spend one-on-one time together and eat shakshuka, one of his favorite dishes. We got to see his childhood home and revisit the places in San Diego where my parents met. We did karaoke in Mexico, where my parents sang Sweet Caroline and the whole crowd joined in. We paddleboarded in Olympic National Park. We celebrated so many Passover Seders in Florida with Saba and Safta. I am so incredibly thankful for all of these amazing memories. Dad also shaped so many of our family's Jewish traditions. While he made a huge impact as head of school and CEO of Denver Jewish Day School, he was an immense leader in Denver Jewish community. He also was a leader and role model for us at home. It wasn't long ago that Dad took over leading our Passover Seders from our Saba. Dad guided us through the Haggadah, through our family's silly added songs and readings, the ones that made our Seders uniquely ours. He led Kiddush at Shabbat dinners and the blessing over his children with intention and love. And he always helped with perfecting our homemade latkes to the perfect crispiness for Mom's liking. These traditions will never be the same without him, but they will continue because of him. Life will never be the same without my dad. I'm gonna miss the daily TikToks he would send me, my annual bike ride with him, randomly running into him at the gym, sitting on the couch with him watching whatever sports game he had on, hearing him play the drums, calling him for advice. But more than anything, I will miss his steady presence, the way he made life feel grounded, safe, and joyful all at once. And while I wish with all my heart that we had more time, I am incredibly grateful for the years we did have, the lessons, the laughter, and the love. Dad, I hope we make you proud by carrying forward your patience, your positivity, your humor, and your deep love for family. I love you always and forever.
Dad, to me, what it means to live a fulfilled and meaningful life is to leave your mark on at least one other person in this world. Wow, take a look at this room. You didn't just leave your mark on one person. You left your mark on hundreds, maybe thousands of people in your lifetime. You truly lived such a fulfilled and meaningful life. In reflecting on his gratitude toward you, your dear colleague, Alan Smiley, captured your essence perfectly. I would like to share some of his words. Always the optimist, Avi faced his difficult diagnosis in the course of the past year with typical resolve and care. In a cruel twist of fate, his mother passed away from the same diagnosis less than a year ago. So he knew well the possible outcome, but he refused to give up fighting or wallow in self-pity. He also thought first about others and how he could ensure their continued success and well-being. Once again, I learned from talking with him what real courage and care for others involves. I will miss my friend tremendously, as I know you will as well, but I feel blessed to have had him in my life. Thank you, Alan. I think it's safe to say that encapsulates how so many of us feel today. You might have been a man of few words, but any time you spoke, everyone in the room wanted to listen. You didn't just speak to fill space. You spoke thoughtfully and with intention. You were humble, magnanimous, compassionate, and deeply respected. You loved your work, your family, your passions, and you balanced them all so nicely. In the end, you would tell us, I'm not scared and I'm not angry. You were at peace. If I can continue living by those words, I'm not scared and I'm not angry, I think I could live in a happier world. We all could. I will try not to be scared going forward without you, trusting that you're still looking out for me. And I will try not to be angry, not at the cancer, not at the ugliness in this world. I've always believed in spreading positive energy to create positive change. And even in this heartbreaking end, you helped me find a way to do that. Even now, you're still teaching me. You clearly did so many things right. I mean, look at how amazing we all turned out. Especially Gilly. And yes, you can rest peacefully knowing I'm finally dating a nice Jewish boy that you love. I wish more than anything that you had gone to become a grandfather and be so goofy with my future kids. We will talk about you, we will cry about you, and we will share all of your silly stories so they know exactly who you were. I will miss asking you every question that pops into my mind and hearing you say, Adina, I am not your Google. I will miss the way you turned something as simple as eating asparagus into a performance, flopping it toward your mouth with your fingers until everyone at the table was in tears laughing. I will miss you coming to my future homes and helping me drill and hammer things into the walls. I am so thankful that you got to see me open my dream business and that you even helped me hang the coat racks at Happy Body Pilates. I will miss bike rides with you, especially tipping over sideways in my clips right next to the porta potty. I will miss Shabbat dinners where you led us in the blessings and we all got to end our long weeks together. Thank you for teaching me all of the Jewish songs and for keeping our family traditions so strong and alive. I promise you those will not stop, not now, not ever. I will miss you pulling out your notorious selfie stick on all of our family vacations. I don't think anyone else will ever give me a toilet plunger or a squatty potty for Hanukkah. You always understood my weird sense of humor. Some of my favorite memories go all the way back to driving to school in Memphis, all of us in the back seat singing and dancing to Staying Alive. I'll always remember as a young child bouncing on your lap at Passover Seders to my favorite songs. I loved bringing my friends to your office at school and stealing the jelly beans and M&Ms, even though it wasn't really stealing. The year you took my class to Israel and witnessed me fly off the seesaw in a picturesque Jerusalem park. You texting me every week in college saying, "So, how's collage?" Our family trips to Mexico when you treated all of us and made sure we had ample strawberry daiquiris and highly authentic chips and cheese. Thank you for being the best dad and creating our beautiful family. I want you to know that we will be okay because we have each other. But the truth is, this is not fair. There is still so much life we wanted to live with you. Loving you this much means losing you hurts so much more. I'm not sure what I will do when I just need my dad. Dad, you left your mark on all of us, your family, your school, and your community. Say hi to Saba and Safta for us. Until we meet again, I love you, and in the words from one of our favorite Rush songs, you are now closer to the heart.
Before I begin, on behalf of my family, I want to thank this community for the extraordinary support you have shown us all. The kindness, generosity, and love you have extended to our family has meant more than words can express. And I want to give a special thank you to Rabbi Kay for the compassion and guidance you provided my dad and our family every step of the way. Just over 5 months ago, life was normal. Just over 5 months ago, my dad and I were looking ahead to what would have been his 20th school year at Denver Jewish Day School. We were talking about his retirement quickly approaching. We were enjoying another calm Shabbat dinner as a family of 6. And now, we are here, trying to understand a reality that simply does not feel real. Many of you know that my dad delivered numerous speeches throughout his career. And you may remember that in the most meaningful ones, there was a recurring theme. He would quote lyrics from his favorite band, Rush. It only feels fitting to carry that tradition forward today and honor him by weaving Rush lyrics throughout my speech. Trying to understand what happened to my dad feels impossible. Rush wrote in BU2B, "The universe has a plan. We are only human. It's not ours to understand." I wish I understood, but I don't. I can't fathom the idea of my dad being gone. Perhaps some things are just beyond understanding. Maybe that is the point. There are chapters of life that will never make sense, that will never be fair. But even if we can't understand why this happened, we can understand what he gave us. His love, his passions, his integrity, and the example he set for all of us. My dad taught us that family was not simply important. It was sacred. My dad was the backbone of our family. The steady beat behind everything. His devotion to our family revealed itself not in grand gestures, but in the stable presence he offered us. Together, he and my mom built a truly remarkable gift. A family that is genuinely close, bound by loyalty, care, and an unwavering commitment to one another. That kind of bond does not happen by accident. It was cultivated and reinforced by my parents over decades. We were raised to show up for each other in good times and in bad. And when these past 5 months demanded everything from us, we surrounded him with the same steadfast love he had always given us. If there is one thing I know made him proud, it was seeing the family he built stand beside him along this horrible journey. Exactly the way he taught us to. Another gift he gave me was the joy of shared passions. If you knew my dad, you knew he was an unbelievably talented drummer. As a kid, I used to secretly hope that Rush's drummer, Neil Peart, would call out sick from a concert because I genuinely believed that my dad would get the call to be his backup and go on tour with Rush. When I joined a band in middle school as a drummer, my dad was thrilled. He taught me how to play, gave me lessons, and helped me learn new songs. I know that just 2 days ago, on my birthday, he was already smiling down on my family. We gathered in his drum room for what we called a drum party, laughing and smiling as I attempted to teach everyone a basic beat in his honor. Another hobby I loved sharing with my dad was biking. We rode through Cherry Creek State Park more times than I can count. In recent years, I finally started to outpace him on rides. He responded with questionable maturity, the way any competitive father would. He bought an electric bike. I gave him a hard time and told him he wasn't old enough yet for that level of technological advantage. His response was to hit the electric boost, blow past me on hills, then slow down just enough to say, "I'm not even trying right now, and I'll be waiting for you at the top." We also spent a lot of time together in the backyard working on various projects. I'm convinced he believed his yard was a reflection of inner discipline. He took what can only be described as an aggressive amount of pride in teaching me the art of perfectly parallel lawn mowing lines. One last hobby we shared was talking about the stock market. His dad, my Saba, used to text him whenever there was a swing in the market. When I chose to pursue a career as a financial advisor, my dad began doing the same with me. What started as questions about investments quickly became frequent conversations about all sorts of financial topics. A generational thread that connected grandfather to father to son, and came to a sudden halt far too soon. Rush wrote in Time Stands Still, "Freeze this moment a little bit longer. Make each sensation a little bit stronger." Those lyrics feel different now, because if I could freeze anything, it wouldn't be a big moment. It would be the ordinary ones, the drum lessons, the bike rides, the everyday moments with my dad that I now realize meant everything. Professionally, his leadership at DJDS was nothing short of extraordinary. People often ask me if it was strange going to school where your dad was head of school. I won't lie, getting in trouble and being sent to his office in first grade was a humbling experience. But looking back, what a gift it was to watch him lead so passionately every day, right in front of the four of us. I especially loved my senior year at DJDS, where my dad inspired me to lead the student body on the student council, while he led the entire school. That father-son leadership dynamic is a perspective I will always treasure. My dad was a man of quiet strength and immeasurable character. He possessed an exceptional calmness and composure, the kind that made you feel safe just standing near him. Those who know me know that I too carry a calm demeanor, and there is no question where I learned it. My dad was also humble to his core. He never needed to be the center of attention. He was content contributing meaningfully and letting others shine. And yet, he always had a perfectly timed dad joke waiting to make everyone laugh. His goofiness was one of my favorite things about him. Above all else, I admired my dad's kindness. Even during these past 5 months, through multiple hospital stays and discouraging setbacks, he remained unfailingly kind. At the hospital, he always thanked every single person who entered his room and did his best to make them laugh. Every nurse, doctor, staff member, and visitor. In a situation that would have broken many, he chose to keep fighting, and he never let his kind character falter. Rush wrote in The Garden, "The measure of a life is a measure of love and respect." If you measure his life in those terms, his life was already complete. He loved his family fiercely, he respected others deeply, and in return, he was loved and respected by all who knew him. Sometimes I forget that this is real. Then I remember, and it hurts all over again. Because it all happened so fast. It feels like something that we should wake up from. There is a hole in our hearts that will never be filled. But there is also something stronger than that emptiness. There is the rhythm he set for our family and community. And even though the drummer is gone, his beat is still here. My final Rush lyrics come from the song After Image. Suddenly you were gone from all the lives you left your mark upon. And while his passing feels sudden and devastating, the marks he left are everywhere. In my family, in this community, in each of us who were lucky enough to know him. Dad, you were our steady beat. We will take care of each other. We will take care of Mom. And we will keep your rhythm alive. I miss you, and I love you.
Raina, you are so very blessed. You and Avi have done so very well. Thank you all. While family was truly central to Avi's life, the other fulcrum was the Denver Jewish Day School. Avi had shared these past several weeks one person that he wanted to encapsulate those connections and give voice to countless students and teachers, administrators, families, and the community at large. It's an honor to call forward Brian Hay, who has beautifully woven together so many voices on behalf of the community at large and specifically the Denver Jewish Day School, to share how Avi's presence has impacted countless thousands and numerous generations. We thank you, Brian.
Well, just last week, Raina asked, at Avi's request, if I would speak at Avi's memorial service when the time comes. I did not expect that time could come this soon and that this loss, though anticipated, would feel so sudden and so overwhelming. It's one of the honors of my life for him to ask that I speak of him here today. Winston Churchill once apologized for writing a longish letter saying he just did not have the time to write a shorter one. With apologies, my comments today run longer than I would have preferred, and for the same reason. Though I am not Jewish, I became a first-order Judeophile and spent my career in the service of Jewish education because I came to know the beauty and profundity of Jewish values and life up close here at DJDS. One aspect of that beauty is the way the community shares in life's seasons of joy and of sorrow. Avi and Rayna have been committed to building a kind and supportive community here at DJDS, and I am confident this community will embrace and be here for you, Raina, Matan, Ariella, Adina, and Gilly, sending love, support, care, and comfort to all of you, now and in the trying times ahead. I began my career at Rocky Mountain Hebrew Academy, now the upper division of Denver Jewish Day School, within 2 years of its founding, teaching for 12 years and becoming the principal. I served in that role for 25 years, the last 9 years of which I served under Avi's direction as head of school. Since my retirement as principal in 2016, I have maintained my friendship with Avi and my connection to the school. I visit the school whenever I can come up with a good excuse. Jason Snyder has pointed out that I tend to show up whenever there is free food. This week it was Hamantaschen. I note all this because I have been witness to nearly all of the school's 50-year history. And it's with that perspective that I say that I do not know of anyone more important to the miracle of our school than Avi Halzel. I last saw Avi on December 15th. I happened to be at school when he briefly visited so that he could be videoed for a short piece to be shown at the 50th anniversary dinner. He looked tired, pale, and thin from the chemotherapy. We could only share a fist bump and say a fleeting hello from several feet apart due to the fear of infection. Thank you. Shortly after that, I wrote an email to him, and here is part of what I wrote. For now, I am not counting on an opportunity to see you in person. While we have no way of knowing just how things will unfold, I want to be certain you know just how much I like and respect you and the gratitude I have for you, for what you have done for the school and community, which I value so deeply and also personally. Your caring, wise, steadfast, and level-headed leadership has helped the school to grow and improve to a degree I could never have imagined in my early days at the school. I know better than almost anyone just what that has required of you. Those same leadership qualities of yours made my years as upper division head under your leadership among the very best of my career. Moreover, your trust and respect for me was both humbling and inspiring, and I have done my best to be worthy of them. Beyond your accomplishments, it was always just good to work with you. We always shared similar temperaments, work ethics, devotion to family, overall values, and we could always count on each other to appreciate each other's worst puns. How grateful I am to have worked with and for someone with a level of integrity and commitment to the importance of our work. So again, Avi, a sincere thank you. I am proud to have you as a friend as well as a former colleague. You have made a huge positive difference in my life. I share my message to Avi because it emphasized the thoughts I think a message to Avi from this entire community might well express. Avi deserves gratitude and respect for the huge positive difference he made to the school and thereby in the lives of virtually everyone in this memorial and so many other DJDS community members over the last 20 years. There is simply no measuring or quantifying that contribution. Beyond our appreciation for what Avi got done for us was what kind of man he was and what kind of leadership he showed. Some of those who have worked most closely with Avi over the years have described him as steady, tireless, humble, unselfish, empathetic, steadfast, and visionary. He was an exemplary student servant leader. Alan Smiley, the director of the Association of Colorado Independent Schools, which is an organization that accredits independent schools in the state, including DJDS, in which Avi played an important leadership role in. Alan wrote of Avi in a condolence letter to our school. Kind, thoughtful, generous, wise, funny, dedicated, and calm are just some of the words that come to mind to describe Avi. He was one of the finest people I have ever known. I fully agree, and I just wish Avi could know that his character is now fully accredited by ACIS. I was asked to speak today mainly about Avi in relation to the school. Avi was a born educator. His father was a head of a Jewish day school. His mother was a Hebrew and Judaic studies teacher and a Holocaust survivor. Avi was raised in Jewish day schools and lived life honoring and continuing his parents' legacies. He carried their values as his own. His passion for the value and beauty of Jewish education was part of his very being. His upbringing was part of the source of his dedication to us, but he also just loved our students and took joy in experiences with them. Avi could be seen at Hanukkah performances, Kabbalat Shabbats, Tiger Games, colorwork competitions, assemblies, graduations, and also any event that might give him a chance to play the drums. A true passion, as we know, for him. Alana Shapiro well described Avi's very favorite opportunity to interact directly with students as follows. He absolutely loved piloting our kindergartners' trip to Israel each year. He would don his pilot's hat, wing pin, and aviator sunglasses and steer the plane, making the kids laugh at his very bumpy takeoff and landing. Even more, he enjoyed flying in a real plane to Israel with our hip students, shepherding them on our incredible Hebrew immersion program and watching some students experience the magic of Israel for the very first time. It was something he cherished. He especially loved that his long career here had afforded him the opportunity, wouldn't you know, how did that happen? Sweaty palms lead to sticky pages. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to have to extemporize a little bit because a page somehow is missing. Oh, there it is. Thank goodness. I'm not good at extemporizing. Anyway, one of the great joys was his opportunity to take these kids on 2 trips to Israel. The make-believe one in kindergarten and the real one in the 10th grade. It seems appropriate that I also know that just some of Avi's major accomplishments at DJDS. As many of you know, he always shunned the spotlight and deflected praise, but sadly, he can't do that today. Well, first of all, Avi served as head of school for 19 years, a job that is so challenging that the average tenure for a school head is 2 years. In his 19 years as head of school, Avi led us through a global pandemic, the Great Recession, budget and enrollment challenges, 3 major fundraising campaigns, 2 comprehensive accreditation cycles, and so much more. He was also responsible for the financial well-being of the school, and during his tenure, the school's endowment grew to $12 million, and over $40 million was raised to fund such improvements in the school as teacher salary increases and the renovation of the 50s wing of the lower division. He also oversaw the significant security enhancements we now have in place in the opening of a pre-K at DJDS. Moreover, many educational innovations and technological improvements were put in place in both divisions under Avi. All of this progress was largely the product of Avi's focus and hard work. Put simply, we would not be the strong, stable, secure, thriving institution we are today without Avi Halzel. But now I'd like to note something that Avi did not do. First, he did not ask even once for any special treatment or attention from me for his 4 wonderful children when they were students in the upper division, though I'm sure they may have appreciated it, and he would have wanted to. This is even more remarkable given his love and devotion to you all. I honestly think the only thing Avi loved more than school and the drums was his family. He was an incredible husband to Raina and father to these 4 incredible children. And by the way, you can just see his soul shine through them. It was clear that, and he truly loved Raina. It was clear that they had a beautiful partnership and marriage that has been cut far, far too short. Back to things Avi did not do. Despite his dealings with the many unavoidable stresses, conflicts, crises, and disagreements inherent in his position, amazingly, and I do mean amazingly, I never once heard Avi raise his voice or disparage, belittle, berate, condescend, blame, or disrespect anyone. I think this is a reflection both of Avi's personality and a dimension of how Avi embodied the Midot. I understand that from Rabbi K, that Avi maintained his remarkable way of being through his final days and was therefore open and able to take in fully the overflowing love and care that surrounded him in his final days and hours, rather than being consumed by the bitterness of sense of unfairness to which his circumstances, others in his circumstances, might well have surrendered. Avi was Avi to the end. Avi left us far too early and on the verge of retirement. No words are profound enough, sweet enough, soothing enough to mitigate the pain of Avi's loss. It hurts. It really hurts. I do not know anyone who so deserved the opportunity to remove the mantle of leadership and play a little, to fully indulge his passion for music and playing drums, his boundless love for Raina and the family, and his desire to travel and discover. We can take comfort, however, in how very well Avi lived and enjoyed his life. I once heard Norm Fisher, a Judaic Studies director here decades ago, tell students something that stuck with me, that the basic purpose of Judaism, the basic 2 purposes of Judaism are to make Jews better people and to make the world a better place. Without understanding, it should be clear to all that Avi Halzel was an extraordinarily good Jew in both of those regards. In all my years involved in the Jewish community, I have heard people say after the name of someone who was no longer with us, may his or her name be for a blessing. It seemed a nice thing to say, but I never understood its deeper importance and purpose until I prepared to speak today. If you didn't know, with Jewish stuff, there's always deeper importance and purpose. I heard that to say someone's memory is for a blessing is to hope their life continues to generate kindness, wisdom, and generosity. It is to say, may who they were lead. It is to say, who they were should lead to our, who they were still can do good here by nudging our sorrow towards purpose. That is so fitting for Avi, who spent his life and career perpetuating and exemplifying the kindness, wisdom, and generosity, the goodness inherent in Jewish tradition. Avi's memory, his example, will be nudging me toward purpose and goodness for the rest of my life, as it will for so many others whose lives he touched. What could possibly be a better legacy of this extraordinary, extraordinary man? Avi, my friend, I adored you. You will be profoundly missed and warmly remembered. Avi Halzel, may his memory be for a blessing. Thank you.
We thank you so very much, Mr. Hay, you who are a servant leader and someone who, through quiet strength, has touched so many lives in our community. And what a fitting person to reflect on another servant leader in our community, someone who impacted countless others in such profound ways through quiet strength. We thank you so much. To our community and all these circles that have gathered together, we thank you for your love and support. We're already seeing the sparks of light and life emanate forth from all of you. Just in recent days, how Team Halzel rallied together. Team Raina is now in good form. How so many of you stepped up to the plate to become shomrim, special individuals who watched over Avi from the point of his death until this sacred time we gathered today and then interment. We thank all of you. And we know that moving forward, special ways that we can show our love and support for Raina and the family and to honor Avi's legacy is through Gemilut Chasadim, through acts of loving kindness. So we thank you again for your love and support. And to you, dear Avi, may your light and your shama continue to burn brightly. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May your name, memory, and deeds be for a blessing now and forevermore.
ידיד נפש, אב הרחמן ושומר איתך אל רצונך, אל רצונך, או ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל ישתחווה מול הדרך, מול הדרך, אוי רב לו ידידותך מנופת צוף יכולתך, איי 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 סוכת שלומך, סוכת שלומך, תאיר ארץ מכבודך נגילה ונשמחה בך, נשמחה בך, או מהר אהוב כי במועד וכונני איי 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 איי
Precious soul, compassionate Father, we hear you drumming from the fanciest drum set ever in heaven along, I'm not sure where my heartbeat stops and your drumming begins, but I'm starting to appreciate that the heartbeat we all feel is also your beat for your family, for your community, for all of us. I invite you to rise as you're able to now for the El Malei Rachamim Memorial Prayer.
El Malei Rachamim המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת אבי שמואל בן מנשה וציפורה שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהי מנוחתו אנא בעל הרחמים הסתירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו אדוני ונחלתו וינוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר
Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of our friend, our leader, our father, our husband, Avi, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. At this time, it's my honor to welcome up my rabbinic and cantorial colleagues, many of whom are here today, to please join Eitan and I on the bima as we sing the words of another song that Avi loved, Oseh Shalom.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל,
In a moment, I'll invite up Jim Cohen from Feldman's to share some information about what's happening next. But I want to invite everyone after the burial to join in support of the Halzel family at Shiva. Shiva will be from 4:30 to 7 today with Minyan at 6, 7 to 9 with Mariv at 7 on Saturday, and Sunday 4 to 8 with the Mariv Minyan at 7 p.m. Invite you to show up this week and to keep showing up throughout the days and months ahead for the family and for one another, because as Brian said, this is hard and we need each other. This time, I welcome up Jim to share some important announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do have an escorted procession today to Mount Nebo Memorial Park for interment. If you'd like to join us at the cemetery for interment and in that procession, we'll ask you to return to your cars as quickly as possible. Please don't delay with conversation in the chapel or the foyer. Please get to your cars, have your hazards on in addition to any daytime running lights. And we're going to use northbound on Ivanhoe towards Hamden, and we're going to start lining up there. If you're not going to the cemetery, if we can can please ask you to hang back a little bit. Give those who are trying to get in line for the cemetery that opportunity to do so. And if you do have to get going, if we can ask you to go 1 block west to Holly Street, and if you could use Holly while we are lining up and using Ivanhoe. One last request, and it's a big one. Please refrain from speaking with the family. They need to do what they need to do and get back to their family cars. A simple hello or just a quick hug to one turns into all of you. So please allow them their opportunity. If they snub you, it's because we told them to, because they need to get to their cars. We'll ask the pallbearers to come forward at this time, and if you're able, please rise.
Thank you, everyone, for your presence today.
השיר זכה וארנה לבוקר חסדך כי היית משכב לי ומנוס ביום צלי Amen.